Hey, how's it going there? PPLSI family, Chris Ward coming to you from my home in Denver, Colorado. Really excited as February 5th approaches the end of the week. And we have none other than Millionaire Club member, Mr. Mel Roberson, coming in to pour into the state of Colorado and actually online. So it could be anywhere. You don't have to be from Colorado to plug in. But I want to talk about a wealth building principle that we often hear about, but I think very rarely participate in, at least to the degree that we understand, and that's having multiple streams of income. And we always hear this from wealthy people, how important it is. And I think some of the times we kind of misinterpret what multiple streams of income. And some people think that means like multiple jobs. And so there's a lot of people now that out of just sheer necessity are out working 2 to 3 jobs. And reality is that 2 to 3 jobs have always been for 2 to 3 people. But sometimes we just need the extra income and we don't feel like we have any other options. But the challenge is when you look at that, you run into the hamster wheel, if you will, and you can't get off of it, because if you leave any one of those jobs, a significant portion of your income will be lost. Now, from my mentors, we hear it all the time from Mr. Brian Carruthers that if 100% of your income is based on 100% of your personal effort, that's a scary place to be. If you're ever injured or need to take time off of work, even if you're self-employed, it's a challenge that if you're not working, that means you're not getting paid. That's a scary place. And a lot of people look at the freedom, their time freedom, as self-employment, but really self-employment is really just having another job. It's just you're the boss. So when we look at multiple streams of income, we have to look at not only does it have the ability to pay you what you're worth, but is there leverage? Meaning is that can you ever step away from work and still get paid? The other question is there residual income? Is this an asset that you can build that over a period of time will grow in its value? Meaning is that can I turn around and sell this asset and make more money than from when I started it? And a lot of our businesses, whether you're a hairdresser, a plumber, a massage therapist, yoga instructor, so on and so forth, you may be self-employed, but if you don't have leverage in your life, if you're not going to work, you're not getting paid. Same right is that with a job, you're constantly under the thumb that if something were to happen to the company and they needed to cut down on their expenses, and they may look at payroll and they may let some people go. And we see it over and over again where job security has become an oxymoron. And so when we talk about multiple streams of income, there's another, I think, pitfall that people misunderstand with multiple streams of income, where they'll go out and they'll say, okay, well, I've got this income, I've got this income, I've got this income, I've got this income, but none of them are actually making them income. So it doesn't matter if you have 7 businesses if none of them are generating any revenue for you. And so often we start this business and all of a sudden it's not doing what we want it to do in the first 2 to 3 months. So we go over here and start another business and we try that for a little bit. And then we go over here and start another business. And this is people that, you know, and I see it in the network marketing industry where they go from company to company because somebody waves a carrot in their face and says, hey, you know, we have this person making gobs of money over here. Why don't you come take a look at this opportunity? And they're like, okay. And then somebody else waves another carrot and says, hey, come over here. You know, we've got this guy who's making this incredible income. Come take a look at what I'm doing. And you're like, okay. And it's just following the shiny object. You know, folks, I've been with PPLSI for over 14 and a half years, right? And I've never been more excited about the opportunity than it is right now. So when we talk about multiple streams of income, you have to ask yourself, for one, is it making you income? Is your time that you're investing in the bringing the products and service to market that you are, is that worth, or are you earning enough money? Now with PPLSI, it's very difficult because in the beginning, you may not make very much money for the time that you're committing to it. But because we have leverage and residual income attached to it, the longer you build up your business, now you're getting paid for stuff. I just talked to an associate just last week. Hasn't marketed a plan in probably 3 years. Hasn't been actively involved in the business in probably 5 years. But got to work that first year, built up an organization, who went out and sold memberships, and is consistently earning about $300 a month. Hasn't sold anything in 3 years, hasn't been active for 5, but is still consistently making about $300 a month. Now, you may say, well, Chris, that doesn't sound like a lot of money. Folks, if you had a source that was sending you $300 a month, how many of your family members do that for your birthday, in all honesty? Very few to far between. So this is an asset. And a lot of people don't realize that because it's so little at the beginning. But folks, if you had somebody was paying you, my mother hasn't worked in years, all right, and is still consistently making anywhere between $500 to $700 a month, right? That's an incredible retirement for something that you only did for a short period of time. In the military, you don't get any retirement until you serve 20 years of military service. And even that pension is just a fraction of what you were earning when you were actually in. So when we're bringing in Mel Roberson, the reason why I wanted to bring him in is because, for one, is that he really does everything that he loves. And I just had another conversation with a realtor just over the last Friday, where we were talking about doing everything that you want to do. So if a lot of people, you don't just have a job, you've got maybe 3 side gigs. I'm not just a PPLSI associate. I also have another business that I'm running that does 3D printed construction for residential properties. Typically, outside of just the not traveling due to COVID, I was also bodyguard. I also get involved in public speaking, right? In the past, I also modeled years ago. This is 15 years ago. But what I mean is that whatever you want to do, you should be able to do, but make sure that and not all of them need to make you money, right? But we want you to follow all your passions, as opposed to being forced to do things that you don't want to do because you need the revenue. So when we're talking about multiple streams of income, what you got to do is, first you have your job, you have your W-2, you're getting paid. This is the linear income. You're getting paid for doing time, getting paid for the time that you're committing to it. That should cover your bills. That should cover your expenses. Now you create a business, that this side gig that you're able to fit in around your schedule. So you have your job, you may have your children, you have your time spent with your spouse or significant other. Now you find this side gig that you can do. And a lot of people we've seen over the course of the last 2 years where side gigs became their full-time gig. And for majority of PPLSI associates, what we do is their side gig. They are doing this on top of what else they're doing. I would say 99% of PPLSI associates do this part-time to even slivers of time. So now, once you have your side gig, now this goes into your profit center. So now you're taking your income from your side gig. For one, you should be reinvesting back into your business as far as marketing collateral, advertising, attending events, so on and so forth. Then also you're investing in yourself. You're having to work on and spend time at conferences, whether it be personal or professional development, learning to be a better person. They always say the person that you become in the process of PPLSI is much more valuable than the income you actually earn, but they're in direct correlation with each other. So now, then also with that money, now you can invest. So now you develop new assets that you're not working. These could be an investment in stocks or cryptocurrency or another company that you may not physically have any involvement in the day-to-day operations. But now you have investments that are generating revenue for you. And this is where we see people that become wealthy. And we hear this from Mr. Brian Carruthers all the time. He's always talking about his investment accounts, because this is what's generated the wealth lifestyle. He has his income that he makes with PPLSI, and that income continues to grow because that asset is continuing to grow. So he no longer needs the job because his PPLSI income replaced anything that would have been presented as a job. In reality, he was a realtor, so he was still independent client, but it was his family's business. But what happens? If he doesn't sell a house, he doesn't get paid. So that's still linear income. And a lot of us as independent associates, if you don't have an organization, it's still linear income. Whenever you're trading, You sell a membership, you get paid. If you don't sell a membership, you don't get paid. The renewal income, that after 10 or 12 months, that now you're getting that residual income. This is where all of a sudden now you have the residual income. And if you build a team, now you have leverage. And the only other way to get it is to hire employees. And now that's cutting into your profit center. You don't want to do that. A lot of people are like, well, what if I hired a group of 10 people to sell PPLSI? You'd go broke because they don't have the commitment to building an asset for themselves. They're working to build your dreams. And they're going to recognize that, and they're no way going to put in the hard work that you're willing to contribute to building a long-term asset within PPLSI opportunity. So Mel Roberson, one of our Millionaire Club members, meaning he's generated well over $1 million throughout his tenure with almost 2 decades with our company. But he's also a successful father. He has incredible children that he's raised. He is a public speaker. He is a DJ. He is an author. He is truly living the life of his own design. And that's why I wanted him to really instill in all of us the necessity of having multiple streams of income. And we heard it from all the greats. I mean, we heard it from Brian Crothers, but I could go outside of that. I just heard it from Grant Cardone talking about this, about getting a job, starting a side gig, using the money from the side gig to invest in investments, and your investments will create your lifestyle. It's because now you have wealth. So I absolutely love that. So what it is very vitally important is to tune in. Either I would suggest in person is the best, because we're going to have some special, we're going to have a raffle prize that is stellar for all in attendance that both a guest or an associate could utilize. That in person, you're going to be able to take photographs with Mr. Mel Roberson, with each other. And it's just going to be a great event for each and every one of us. What I want everybody to also realize is the value of a full house. So in the military, we have this numerical superiority. If you want to win a battle, you want to maintain either technological superiority or numerical superiority. I mean, you need more troops on the battlefield. How do I translate that into PPLSI opportunity? Is that when you go to an event, the more people we have in the room that are excited about what's going on inside the world of PPLSI, when you bring a guest into that space and they feel that enthusiasm, their level of interest in the opportunity grows dramatically. But the more people you have, folks, I remember in California, sometimes I've been to Super Saturdays that had 400 or 500 people in them. Guests were signing up before they even knew what they were signing up for because of the excitement in the room. And Grant Cardone talks about this as well. He talks about where money flows, where energy goes. And we see this all the time. Whenever in the marketplace, the rise in cryptocurrency, you had all your naysayers that were saying, you know, it's a scam and this and that. But people were making a lot of money in cryptocurrency. So where did everybody's attention go? Everybody went to look at cryptocurrency. You have people that had no investments whatsoever are now investing in cryptocurrency. Whenever you hear things going on in companies in the stock market, a lot of people go invest in a company because they're like, oh, you know, I heard in the news that this company is about to get this massive contract. I better go buy some stock in that company. Now what are you hearing about? NFTs. People are like, oh, let's go invest in this NFT. This is a non-tangible asset that is going to build in value over a period of time. So people are putting down ridiculous amounts of money for digital assets. Digital assets, meaning you physically cannot hold this and it will physically not doing anything for you. So these digital assets, but people were saying, hey, this is a scam, this is a waste of money, so on and so forth. But NFTs are growing in popularity. And so what happens? People are shifting their money to things that are drawing their attention because people are like, hey, so-and-so, I just saw 2 18-year-old kids sold an NFT that they had created, I think for $100,000. So what do you think all the kids are doing now? They're all creating their own digital assets. What I'm saying is, and I'm not asking you to invest in anything in particular, but what if the dialogue in the communities, what if what people were talking about was that where people are making money with PPLSI. If that was the conversation, if we saw evidence of this in our communities, well, now people's attention would shift back to PPLSI and say, listen, people are making money there. This is where I want my attention, and that's where their money is going to go. Not only to invest in a business, but to build an asset. And folks, if you've not been paying attention, our company is launching into the largest marketing campaign that they have ever done in 50 years for PPLSI. And this wave is coming. And so you want to make sure that you're ahead of the wave, because as this sweeps across North America, you don't want to sit back and watch and wait and see what happens. You want to hit it while we are at a 2% market penetration. Because folks, you will not reckon, when we hit 5% market penetration and you participated fully, you won't recognize your life. I know that doesn't sound like a big shift, but that is a monumental shift for anybody who participates. So I want you to go to multiplestreamsseminar.eventbrite.com. And then I'm going to put it down in the below so you can go to this website, get registered today. Now, there's a couple options. For one is that our guests are complimentary, whether they attend in person or virtual, right? Now, if you are already an associate of PPLSI, sign up as an associate. It's $20 whether you attend in person or whether you attend virtually. And you might be like, well, why are you charging us $20? We still are flying in Mel Roberson. We're still putting him up in a hotel. We're still feeding him. We're still entertaining him. And those draw costs. And so that's why we're asking for the collective share, the social sharing of those costs. That's why we're doing it. Trust me, we've never made money on running events. But what this does is creates an incredible opportunity that if we fill up this room with associates and guests, I think there's only 80 seats in the conference room right now. I would love it to be standing room only. Because if we have that kind of an environment for this event, folks, that energy will catapult us into the remainder of 2022. You don't want to wait until the Oklahoma City Convention in April to start building your business. You don't want to wait and see what the company's doing in April. What you want to do is tell everybody that when they're looking for LegalShield and ID Shield, that they can get it from you. We need to educate them on what we're doing in the marketplace, and we need to talk to everybody about the opportunity. Because there are a lot of people right now that are threatened by losing their jobs. There's companies that are closing their doors, and people are more and more looking at business ownership by force, by necessity. They're having to figure out what they're going to do as a business. I see the communications on Facebook all the time. So let everybody know, share the information, and get everybody registered. Let us pack the house on February 5th for none other than Millionaire Club Member, Mr. Mel Roberson. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you on February the 5th. Again, we'll be broadcast. We'll send out the Zoom link to those that are attending virtually Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So be on the lookout for that email as well. And make sure that you show up. Our doors are opening at 11:30. The PPLSI open house presentation will begin promptly at noon. And so make sure you eat before you come. We won't have food there. We'll have some beverages there. But understand, having Mr. Mel Roberson explain and break down understanding the multiple income streams will be vitally important, not just for the associates in the room, but more importantly, the guests. Let's make this a guest-centric event. And I'm excited about it, folks. Never before in the last 14 years have I been as excited as I am about the opportunity that's ahead of us. So with that, I look forward to seeing each and every one of you on February 5th. This is Chris Ward from Denver, signing off.